the Pacific Northwest.
Representando a todos los Alvis en los Estados Unidos con Dro Breeze.
You are listening to
You already know
the DroInTheKnow podcast with your host,
the one and only
Dro Breeze.
Happy New Week, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of the DroInTheKnow podcast. As always, I'm your host, Dro Breeze, for the week. Once again, giving a big shout out to all the supporters who have been tuning in on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other digital platforms, and now also available and streaming on YouTube. So make sure to search me up under DroInTheKnow podcast. And remember, it really means a lot. And if you really like what you hear, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. It truly would be appreciated. Well, what more can I say? This is the season finale to season 1. And before I get to it, I just want to say that this wouldn't be possible. And I want to thank each and one of you for making season 1 a successful season. It was a great experience to share all this with you. I love all the feedback and everybody reaching out and talking to me about specific episodes and, giving me their, opinion on things. And I really appreciate that from all angles, man. I'm an open person, so I love to hear this, and I love all the love everybody's sending out. I'm really excited I really kind of already want to get into season 2, but I'm going to take a quick break here because we revamped a lot of things here, and I'm going to be sharing a lot of these things on social media in the coming weeks, no doubt. Again, you all of you are more than welcome to hit me up on YouTube, Instagram, or Twitter. Like I said, I love hearing everything, and if you have any suggestions, please feel free to reach out to me. I mean, I love hearing everything and opinions that people have. Saying that, today's episode is going to be sweet and short. It's about sports in the Seattle area, of course. But before I do get into that interview, I just want to say that I will be back in the next couple of weeks. Season 2 most likely will kick off, I would say, mid-April to late April. It's going to be great. Just wanted to take a quick break here. I know everybody's, enjoying their spring break. I hope everybody's staying safe out there. I mean, things are starting to, pick up again. I mean, it's great to see everybody, opening up their businesses, and people are in better spirits. And that's the most important thing. That's good for mental health, especially, the crazy ride that we've been going through. But before I let you guys go, I just want to say that I really, really appreciate all the support. You are all the reason why season 1 was successful. Just want to make that clear. But without any more further delay, let's get into it. My next guest is the sports director and host of Queued Up Sports at Q13 Fox Seattle. It's with great pleasure to welcome Mr. Aaron Levine. Thanks for taking the time and joining me on this podcast, Aaron.
Thanks a lot. I haven't been called Aaron Levine in a while because Adam Levine and Maroon 5 has basically made that last name famous.
Right. So true. Well, just to start off things here, I just want to say that I'm glad you were able to hop on and take some time and, join us for a little bit here. I really enjoy watching your show on Q13 Fox. I think it's great. It's exciting times, I must say, being a hockey fan, to know that, we're finally getting a team in the Seattle market. Saying that, in your opinion, what is the feeling that you're getting from Seattleites regarding the addition of a new hockey franchise? And do you think that this may interfere with, say, attendance for other franchises in the Seattle market? Because, we're going to have all major sports now, engines on full blast. Do you know what I mean?
I think there is always, somewhat trepidation going into building a new franchise in this city. But I think Seattle and its fan base time and time again has proven itself worthy of more teams. I'll be the first person to say that I was very skeptical when the Seattle Sounders were announced that they were going to get a new Major League Soccer franchise all the way back in 2008. And look how that has completely blown up. Leading the league in attendance all the way up until a couple of years ago when Atlanta finally joined the league. They've been leading the league in attendance, but to average somewhere around 36 to 42,000 fans every game for the Sounders, in the entirety of their franchise, it really blew me away. And then the fact that the season ticket interest by hockey fans in this area has been through the roof. They have something like 32 to 40,000 people on the waiting list for season tickets for this brand new Seattle Kraken team. I cannot wait to see what it's going to be like. Hopefully non-COVID related, when you can get all 17, 18,000 fans into that packed arena, what that feeling and emotion is going to be like before a game.
I know we can't predict the future, especially with the COVID cases fluctuating in our state. But saying that, in your opinion, what are the chances that there will be attendance for the inaugural game for the Krakens at Climate Pledge Arena? Because that's a big deal. I mean, do you think that's even a possibility?
Well, listen, we're looking all the way up till October is going to be their first game. So we're very hopeful that in 8-9 months from now, there will be, at least up here, a certain number of fans that will be allowed inside. You have to think with the vaccinations that are going on right now, that by that point in time, there will be fans there. The question is, will it be a completely full house? Either way, I think what's so exciting is if you haven't been up north to a Vancouver Canucks game, and I'm originally from Southern California, and being from LA, having gone to a Kings game, it is such a difference between watching a hockey game on TV and being able to see it up close and personal in person. That is one of the huge draws to the game of hockey, is to be in the arena and to see the action and to really enjoy it and to feel the energy in the stands. That's something that Seattle hockey fans are really going to be exposed to when they get a chance to go see the Kraken in person.
Yeah, I'm a little conflicted as a hockey fan because you see, I grew up in Vancouver as a Canucks fan, and to see the potential of a new rivalry between Seattle and Vancouver, that's just going to complicate things for me. I have no idea where I'm really going to stand on things. Yeah. But saying that, I think it's just great that Tim Leiweke saw the potential in his market and pushed for a team out here. But just to get a clear understanding of things, what exactly went wrong with the Chris Hansen proposal, which was building a new arena next to Lumen Field and T-Mobile Park? I mean, that deal felt perfect. Why did the city reject that? And why did they go ahead with refurbishing Key Arena? I mean, what is the reasoning?
Well, I think there are a number of factors involved. The first of which was the Port of Seattle being a major player in this situation. This was a power play for the Soto area in Seattle, and the Port of Seattle simply did not want another arena being built down there. They saw another arena being as a threat. And so that was a big reason originally why it comes down to the vacation of a street at Occidental, and it failed by a vote of 5-4. And in the end, I think a lot of the lobbyists a lot of the people that were paying for polling and a biased polling as well. I mean, there were so many different things that unfortunately went against that plan. Now, it's not dead, but by the same token, I think the Leiwekes and Oakview Group have really shown what kind of state-of-the-art arena is being built at Seattle Center. And while I still to this day don't believe that it is the best location for the arena, the fact that they are now building an arena that is close to $1 billion, and it's going to be a state-of-the-art facility, and it, by all accounts, is going to be big enough potentially to house an NBA team. The goal at the end of the day was to bring the Sonics back in any way, shape, or form. It didn't matter whether it was going to be at Seattle Center or in Soto or behind a dumpster in the middle of Kirkland or,
I remember that.
It didn't matter. We just wanted a team back. And hopefully we're now in a position, because we have that new arena, to attract an NBA team to come back to Seattle as well.
Yeah, just for all the listeners that are listening and that are not familiar with the Seattle area, the area where Climate Pledge Arena is located is very centric, but it's a traffic and parking nightmare, which is why I'm very shocked that the city went ahead and voted to refurbish Key Arena. But regardless, I'm super happy to know that it is based in Seattle and not in Tacoma, because attending events in Tacoma is atrocious. But that's a story for another day. But Aaron, based on your knowledge, what is the city doing to help relieve traffic and help with the flow of event goers?
I know that there are plans in place in terms of making ride share more accessible and having people park further away from the arena and bringing those ride share areas and bringing local transportation and using the monorail as is. all these things that haven't been used before.
Yeah.
This is really going to be a trial by error situation. And it could be potentially be an absolute nightmare. It could potentially be a lot easier than people make it out to be. It's just a wait and see. And we're not going to find out until, day one in that arena when they have a full crowd, whether it be for a concert or for a Kraken game, how that is actually going to go. Now, I know that they're also reliant on a lot of the inhabitants of the downtown core. And so the people that live in the downtown area are going to have a much easier time, I believe, than somebody coming from outside of the city.
Yeah, and just thinking more on that, it would be great if the metro city could actually somehow form a light rail system that connected Linwood and other communities to downtown Seattle. But that's wishful.
Well, they will eventually. I mean, that is the plan for when light rail, what is it, 2028, 2030?
Yeah, something like that.
8 years from now, it's going to happen. We're just having to look way out into the future for those solutions to come.
Now that the ball is rolling with the construction to Climate Pledge Arena, and I know that the project is almost complete, what are the chances that the NBA will be returning to Seattle? I know you were just kind of mentioning that, and I know I've been seeing a lot of reports on ESPN. Because you see, Steve Ballmer was the hope of the city. He was fully committed, but now he's committed to the Clippers and building that new arena in Inglewood. So who do you think could step in that role and take over and potentially make an ownership bid for an NBA team?
Well, I think we're in the city of Seattle is in a much better position. If there's any silver lining that came out of this pandemic, and obviously we're kind of scraping here for silver linings and positives, it's the fact of a lot of these NBA teams, while they're worth a lot of money, they need cash up front, and they're hurting for cash right now. And if there's anything good that came from the pandemic, it's that the only way to infuse immediate cash into a franchise is to welcome another expansion team into the league, because most of these teams are evaluated an average of $2 to $2.5 billion right now. So an expansion team would cost a new ownership group around $2 billion to start. And where does that $2 billion go? It's split evenly among the 30 other teams in the league. It's an instant cash grab of around $75 to $80 million per team.
Yeah, so that's a lot of money.
That would be the way. Expansion, I think, is the best situation because you're at 30. Hopefully you get to 32. And that's one of the reasons I believe why Adam Silver has all of a sudden gone from we're not talking expansion at all right now to kind of opening the door of maybe potentially having that discussion down the line. It feels like something is in the works. Also, the fact that Tim Leiweke is saying that 2021 is the year that we now have to refocus our attention to, in some way, shape, or form, bringing the Sonics back to the city of Seattle. I think there are things, under the surface that are happening. The wheels are moving right now. And I would venture to say, I would be very optimistic that something happens within the next 3 years.
Now, do you think the NBA will have an issue with the refurbishing of Climate Pledge Arena? Because I know the Supersonics did that back in the days, and later in the future, they came back saying that that's the reason they needed a new arena and eventually relocated.
I think the NBA would be perfectly fine. It's just a matter of whether they're able to make the economics work with an ownership group of a team at Climate Pledge Arena and what that split of revenue share happens. Now, one big player in this whole situation is David Bonderman, who is a co-owner of the Kraken. He is a co-owner of the Boston Celtics. I could see him easily leaving his share with the Celtics and being a co-owner of a new team. And he already has a stake in Climate Pledge Arena in the building itself. So there are many different, ways they could potentially get this done. I don't think, though, that the arena is going to be an issue in terms of the NBA saying, no, it's not big enough, we can't play here. It's really going to come down to the ownership group and whether they can make that revenue share work.
Yeah, that's great to know because you see, I know we are a major city, but we're not a major city. So I'm kind of curious to see how things are going to play out, especially with having so many franchises hovering all throughout the year. You got, hockey, you got the Seahawks all in the fall.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have, the Sounders, and then you got the Mariners, etc. I'm just curious to see if that's going to create any problems for the NBA, especially when they're looking forward to maybe at an expansion, if that's going to affect revenue. You know what I mean?
I always take the optimistic view. And what I went back to before is we are the 12th largest media market in the country. And people lose sight of that every once in a while. And I believe, there's only one market in the top 15 aside from Seattle that doesn't have at least 6. This was my case when we didn't have a hockey team or an NBA team. There was only 1 or 2 that didn't have either one of those 2 teams. I believe wholeheartedly that the city of Seattle can support financially an NBA and an NHL team to go along with the WNBA and to go along with the Seahawks and to go along with the Sounders and the Mariners and the Huskies and whoever else you want to bring in here. I mean, I've also felt like a PGA Tour event needs to come up here to the Pacific Northwest also.
Oh, it would be amazing. It would be amazing.
It would in the middle of the summer. It's a shame that hasn't happened yet either.
Yeah, it's great to see that all these opportunities are starting to knock at Seattle's door. I mean, there's so much potential for the city, and it's such a great market. I always wondered why we never had an NHL team, especially with it being so close to Vancouver and Portland. I see so much potential, and it's exciting to see how things are going to play out in the future here.
Was the worst part was seeing the Vancouver Canucks in the playoffs and the Portland Trailblazers in the playoffs both at the same time.
Yeah.
And we were being stuck in the middle and not having either one, saying, well, what the heck? I mean,
exactly.
We need to have at least one, if not both, of these leagues represented in our city.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting to see the Kraken in town. Now, in your opinion, do you think they actually have a shot at, taking, if not number 2, but number 1 Seattle franchise in the city? Because this is going to be exciting.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the number 1 or number 2 franchise in the city. I think it's all relative. I mean, the Seahawks play 8 home games, and you're talking about an NBA and NHL team that would be playing 41 home games. So, different seasons, different times of year, but certainly there's not much going on in the winter months. So you need that bridge from the end of Seahawks season to the beginning of baseball season and through the first part of baseball season also. And we don't have that. Right now we have Husky basketball, and they're not doing so well.
That's so true. Yeah.
And so it will be a huge boon to the city when the Kraken begin in October, and then if and when they get the Sonics back, which will hopefully be sooner than later.
Yeah, definitely. I hope it's soon. The Supersonics are just deeply missed. You can see that all over the state, and there's so many great memories everybody has of the Supersonics. So I hope they can actually somehow find a way to come back to the city. My heart was ripped twice, by the NBA when the Supersonics moved, and when the Grizzlies moved to Memphis. And when I saw both cities going at it just a couple years back, it was just ripping my heart apart, just even seeing the conference finals, Oklahoma and Grizzlies. But saying that, I want to say thank you, Aaron, for taking the time. If anybody wants to follow you, do you have any social media pages where I can, direct people to? Yeah,
I'm on Twitter at AaronQ13Fox. Pretty much Twitter is the name of the game. I joined Instagram maybe 7 or 8 years ago, but I haven't really done anything on it yet. So I'm slow to the gram, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, thanks again, Aaron, for coming on. I hope you have a great week, and best wishes.
Yeah, thanks a lot. You too.
Anytime. Well, everybody, that was Aaron Levine from Q It Up Sports at Q13 Fox Seattle. I just want to thank everybody for taking the time and checking out this episode. This is the season finale. So I will be returning back with a revamped version of DroInTheKnow podcast. Actually, very, very excited to share that with you. Just keep track. You can check me out on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Sending my much love to everybody. Thanks for making this a successful season 1. I really appreciate every single one of you for, taking the time and, checking me out, hitting me up. Again, it's going to be great. Season 2 is going to be greater. So wishing everybody a great week, a great month. I will return shortly. Any questions or concerns or anything, just feel free to hit me up, man. I'm a very easygoing person, as you know. So much love. Peace.
Broadcasting live and direct from the Pacific Northwest.
Representando a todos los Alvis en los Estados Unidos con Dro Breeze.
You are listening to
You Already Know,
the DroInTheKnow podcast with your host,
the one and only
Dro Breeze.